All right, take two, I guess.
Yeah, indeed.
Welcome to Imperial Advisor, episode 59. A champion's foresight has arrived. Do you know where your children is? Baz, how you doing?
I am good. I've got a bunch of college assignments to crack out, so I've been relatively quiet on the Alphavore side. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some new cards, and hopefully we'll find out what's in the Dragon Pack soon. I'm very
Ah,
excited about what could be in it.
absolutely. Will we have another episode before Worlds?
When's Worlds? Start November.
Yeah,
We might not, but we might. So
yeah,
I think current
possible.
schedule we won't, but we might look at it. And actually, this pack, once we review it, will be the last legal pack for Worlds. So after that, after this episode, we can have a quick look and see if we've got any notions.
Excellent. Our hot takes will be relevant. Justin, how you doing?
Good. Yeah, very well, thanks. How are you doing? Getting
Good.
close to midterm?
Nearly midterm, which is excellent. I might even go to Galcon. I might even get some games in. Might play some F4, might play some other stuff. All depends when things are on. I'm going to be playing Labyrinth of Lunacy in Arkham Horror, and I really look forward to that.
Oh, cool.
As
Awesome.
it's a really cool iteration of Arkham Horror because you play it's 3 4-player tables, each tackling the same scenario. So it's all good. Alrighty, let's launch into the thing. I'm knackered. I've just been back from doing teacher detention, and can take a look at this.
Owen was very naughty.
Yeah, like we were all naughty as a group. We were naughty. The entire teaching profession was naughty, so we have to be punished in this way. All right, let's talk about strange, maybe top 3 Dragon Clan strongholds.
Definitely.
This might make top 3. All right, Shirokatsuki +2 province strength, castle, 10 influence. No, sorry, 10 honor, 11 influence, 7 fate. Reaction: after conflict is declared, name a card. After each time your opponent plays that card during this conflict, choose an unclaimed ring and claim it as a political ring, gaining all fate from it, unlimited. Okay. Baz, what's this for?
So you're not playing any attachments, and you want an extra point of influence.
Uh-huh.
Perfect stronghold for it.
Cool.
Yeah, the 11 influence is quite nice actually. But yeah, the ability. I think a lot of people have been looking at this. A lot of people have been talking about it, trying to work out what happens. My personal take on it is that if you successfully name the right card every time, that the getting to claim a ring isn't a big deal. Now, if there is fate on it, you're going to get a little bit of a fate increase, and there are a number of ways that you can make it more relevant. But to do that, you have to play a lot more cards that are focused on making the stronghold better. And if you do so, your opponent always has that choice. So if you correctly name a card, they always have the choice to go, well, I'm going to play it anyway. They're going to claim a ring. There's no fate, or there's only one fate. That's not such a big deal. This card is stronger than that. Or they can go, no, they're going to get 2 or 3 fate off that ring, and then they'll be able to use one of their characters to discard the ring they've claimed, get an effect. That's a bit too much. I'm just not going to play the card. So I do feel it surrenders a lot of control over to your opponent. I think playing against this stronghold will be a lot of fun because you'll have important decisions to make, and you will be in control of those decisions. But I think to fully utilize it, the Dragon player is going to have to play a lot of weaker cards to make their strongholds playable. It's maybe the wrong word, but playable is what I'm thinking. So yeah, I'm not really a fan.
Do Dragon have a lot of effects that bounce cards back to somebody's hand? Like if it let go, bounce the detachment back. Or a different version of let go that does something like that.
So you could name it so you'd know what's in their hand?
Yeah.
Maybe. But honestly, I think a lot of the time you're going to go into the political conflicts and you're going to name court games, and you're going to go into military conflicts and you're going to name bonsai.
Yeah.
I think 90% that's what you're going to do. There is a niche case where you'll want to do that to stop them going, well, I've got 3 of this card in hand, and if I play all 3, then they have to claim the ring because the claiming the ring isn't optional.
Yeah.
and that'll lock them out of their next conflict, and that's a win for me. So that's kind of a niche case, but I think you're pretty reliable to see bonsai in court games in decks these days. So I think that's an easy one to name. And once you've started naming those, you want to keep naming them. So every conflict you want to completely lock out court games and every our bonsai, because if you change to another card, which may be a more relevant card for that particular conflict, then it opens up the previous cards if they had it. So I think a lot of time you're going to play court games with bonsai, but then your opponent still gets to choose. So no, I see what you're saying. Ways to bounce things back will be kind of cool. Now there are effects that will let you look at your opponent's hand, which will give you that insight into what's going on. But I think 90% of the time, the opponent's just going to play it and let you get the ring. Now,
So if you can trigger this twice in a conflict, right, or twice over the turn, and you went first, you could potentially lock someone out of a conflict. If you've gone second, you have to trigger it 3 times to lock someone out of it, to lock the other guy out of a conflict, at the cost of locking yourself out of the conflict.
Yeah, but the trick is your opponent gets the choice of whether they play the card or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if your opponent's going to get locked out, they just don't play the card. And
Yeah.
if your opponent's going to lock you out, they do.
Is there enough Phoenix return claimed ring shenanigans or Dragon return claimed ring shenanigans to leverage any strength out of this, or are you just jumping through a hoop here to maybe get some economic edge and maybe win the favor a bit easier? Like, what's this doing for you? Do Dragon have stuff where if I have X ring claimed? Because I don't think they do. Phoenix do, and Unicorn do a bit, but does Dragon?
Dragon have 1 or 2. The only one I can think of straight offhand is a Gasha Shunsun, who can discard a ring that you have during a conflict to go through your deck and pull out an attachment at that cost or less. There are a few other cards that have recently come out or are due to come out. I can't think of them offhand, but I know they are out there. But yeah, I mean, the question is how much work you're getting of it. I think a lot more of it's going to be getting fate onto those rings. So when you do actually claim a ring, that you're getting chunks of fate off it.
Yeah.
But part of the problem with that is, if your opponent's going to attack, they're also getting fate.
Yeah.
You can't flood it all and then expect your opponent to get nothing unless you've got, some sort of way of preventing that. So in that case, you'd be looking at Tadakatsu, who basically your opponent picks the ring you're when you're attacking, or you'd look at the Stone of Sorrows, which is a seeker only 2 fate attachment that prevents your opponent from getting fate off rings. So there are definitely some fun decks that you can build out of Shirokatsuki that will leverage your way into making it relevant. But for competitive play, I think you're pushing in the wrong direction. Like, really, you want strong individual cards that come together more powerful. Yeah. And I think with Shirokatsuki, what you're doing is you're getting multiple weaker cards and hoping it works out.
Like, it seems like a lot of playing around to get a minor enough benefit, unless there's something like, it seems like the kind of stronghold that there could be something broken with, but it's going to be a really unintended combo. Justin, any strong feelings in this house of evidence?
No, I'm pretty neutral on this card, I have to say. I suppose one of the things, it gets better the smaller your opponent's hand size is, because you have the capacity to soft lock them out of a larger percentage of their hand. So it would seem to fit into a dishonor or honor strategy, but probably a dishonor strategy. You've the Kensuke Investigator really helps this along, because you get to take a look at their hand and you get to take 1 card out and then again hopefully soft lock them out of another one. But as Baz said, you're like the final say with the stronghold lies in your opponent's hands, and if it's to their advantage, they're going to play the card they're going to play regardless, and if it's not, they're not. So there's there's quite a ceiling on the effectiveness of this card. So it's got a lot of combo potential, but I'm not sure that kind of combo potential is sufficiently rewarded with the current card pool. I mean, it's absolutely the kind of card that can get much, much stronger with additional support. But for the moment, yeah, I don't see it as being competitive at the moment.
Now, if you're not playing attachments, you can play Shirakazuki instead of Mountain Sandal Castle with 0 downside, extra influence, and the effect might become relevant at some point. So, the Dragon focus has always been attachments, but if you wanted to steer away from that, Shirakazuki is a way you could go.
Yep.
All right, so ready your Nick Kershaw and put on the riddle because we're on to Henshin Mysteries. 5 strength province, water province. During a conflict at this province,
It's an air province.
when a player would claim the contested ring, return it to the unclaimed ring pool instead. If this province breaks, the ring is claimed as normal. So initially, this is a little like a twist on Pilgrimage, in that they get the ring effect, but they don't get to steal the ring. So you can go for the ring effect as well, unless I'm way off base.
Yeah, it's a better pilgrimage. Is what it is. So it also means they don't have the ring in their claimed ring pool for control of the favor.
But they get the ring effect, right? Because they get the ring effect, but they don't get to take the ring.
Yeah.
So it's
is that how it works?
Yeah, because
so
superb is
this is okay. Right. Okay.
So because under superb you get to do skills unopposed, province breaks, elemental ring effect happens.
Oh yeah.
And then you claim the ring.
I take it back. I thought this card was actually good. My apologies.
Well, it's a 5 province strength air province, which we've definitely seen before. So, but okay, this one is like, hey, you don't get the ring, I get the ring too. Is there any play for Phoenix Snap, Justin?
No. It's highly situational. It's hugely farmable with probably not a lot of downside.
Even worse,
yeah, and plus,
if you display a power with this, you don't get to claim the ring yourself.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like that. I mean, that could be potentially quite strong. Like if there's a ring that is, because if there's a ring that's particularly critical, like air or void or something, then you could display a power it and then go straight after it yourself. But
one of the big things with display of power is favor. It's like if you get a display of power turn 1, you're certain to have favor going into turn 2, and that if you're playing the right cards, that can often shift the game.
Yeah, it can snowball. So I mean, I think there are situational. Yeah, there are situations where Henshin Mysteries is going to be pretty strong, but the opportunity cost is you're also giving up Manicured Garden as well, which is kind of a staple.
This seems bizarre on a province, though. This seems like it should be on the character, where you can actually, kind of leverage it a bit and be like, cool, I'll bring in this conflict character, and he says, like in a province he's staying, when he would claim the contested ring, no, it goes to the unclaimed pool instead. So you can maybe double tap a ring or something.
Yeah, that would be a bit more interesting, maybe. Again, you've got the kind of the dumb luck flip aspect of provinces, but I don't know.
Yeah,
with Talisman, maybe you could shift people around into this. Quite why you would do that, I'm not sure, because the payoff seems incredibly low. So yeah, it's a kind of cool card that just isn't going to make it because it doesn't do anything direct or forceful enough to really get around what you can otherwise play in your air province slot.
It seems a very marginal card, but all right.
Yeah.
Next up, Smuggler's Cove. 4 strength province, Seeker Road only, water province. Always worth taking a look at a water province because the water provinces are not the May West. Action. During a conflict at this province, choose a character you control and select one. Either move that character to the conflict or move it home. I actually quite like this. I mean, it's Seeker only, which is its own problem at the moment. But it's a water province, which often has kind of limited effects. And this one is an interesting one for a defender, where you can basically pull a character into defend if you need be, or send them home if you're massively losing. So it's a bit of flexibility. I mean, I don't hate this card at all. Any thoughts?
I really like this card.
Yeah.
I really like this card. I mean, favorable ground is one of the more powerful effects in the game, and this is a reusable favorable ground for this particular province, for this specific province. And because you're not blowing it up, it's the opportunity cost on it is different. The opportunity costs are a bit shifted around, but it has some really powerful combos. I think we talked about this card before, actually, when it was previewed earlier. I mean, Crab, like if Crab had Seeker of Water, for example, then they could fight on a giant unit into the Smuggler's Cove and then send them home, ready to attack again. There are things you can do.
Or bring in a Bowed Haruma Signaler and then sack him to bring in a straightened character.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of play with it. I like this card. I mean, it's not maybe for any decks at the moment, but that's definitely gonna, like, the Water Province role is not the stiffly contested one that Void is, or even Earth. So yeah,
I think it's quite clever that it's Seeker role only as well. I would honestly prefer if this was Keeper, because then it would go into a lot of the Keeper decks, whereas with the Seeker decks, often you kind of take the Water one out and replace it with something else.
Yeah.
But this
I was just going to say
it improves.
It's kind of it's kind of off flavor, actually, bizarrely. I mean, Seeker is supposed to be the aggressive, the aggressive role, but this is very much. This is a defensive, because it only works at this province, so it's a little off flavor maybe there. For balance.
Yeah, I think maybe it's more mechanical. It's just the Seeker Water than anything else.
Yeah.
All right, next up, it's Crab time. Frontline Engineer, 4 cost character, 4 military, 2 politics, 0 glory. You gotta like that, but wait, there's more. Bushi Engineer, this character gets +1 glory for each holding in play. Action: during a conflict in which this character is defending, search the top 5 cards of your Dynasty deck for a holding, put it into play in the attack province, discarding each other card in that province, shuffle. So, it is a decent depth tutor for a holding. Now, we've seen bits of the Crab pack already, so there is a Crab holding deck that focuses on getting a couple of key holdings out, and this character lets you dig. So, doesn't suck. I would prefer 0 glory nearly to getting an inconvenient amount of glory, like 1 or 2 glory for being in play. But you might be able to go double hard on this guy and honor him, and then every holding becomes big. And he can get a holding onto your stronghold once they're attacking your stronghold, which is not the worst. Which is not the worst at all.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So he is an interesting toolbox. His stat line isn't inspiring at 4/2 for 4, but neither is it terrible. It's acceptable. I think he will see some play. It's kind of concerning that in the Crab pack there's a 5 cost unique who has a much more powerful tutor effect, but has a much bigger danger of then getting killed or clouded or just not getting to use it. So he's certainly interesting, and any kind of limited effect tutor like that can possibly get a holding that solves a problem. Yeah, that's reasonable, legit, I think. Any thoughts, anybody?
Seems like good redundancy for the heavy hitter in the Crab pack.
Yeah, I think so. I think solid enough. Baz, any thoughts?
I like him. Yeah, I'm always nervous about characters that are more than 4 cost or 4 cost and more. And yeah, like a lot will depend on what actually happens once that Crab pack comes out and the holding team is even more developed. But yeah, a tutor, pull out what you need for exactly this conflict. You're never quite sure what you're going to get, though, which is one of the challenges. And it put it into play in the attack province. So, if you end up with, you're going to lose a province anyway, and the holdings that you're able to fetch out are like Iron Mines, that's not necessarily going to be great for you. But yeah, I like him. Quite cool.
Just to comment on how the glory thing makes him weaker in the Scorpion matchup. Absolutely, I would in a heartbeat trade that glory trait for instead 0 glory, and this character is +1 military, +1 politics if there's a holding in the conflict he's in. I would be a million times happier with that trait.
Even just get rid of that trait altogether.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't get any of the glory, it's only going to be a downside for Crab 90% of the time.
Pretty much. All right, next up, let's look. Hey, there's a holding. There's a holding for him to fetch. Strategic weak point. Trap. +0 province strength. Interrupt. When this holding's province is broken, your opponent chooses an attacking character. Discard that character. So here is the first kind of poison pen holding that technically you can rebuild in, or maybe pull out with your engineer, or pull out with some other shenanigans to tutor for. And theoretically, when this province breaks, your opponent gets rid of their weakest guy. I am not too happy with it. I think it might occasionally do something.
Yeah,
I mean, most of the time it won't.
I think this is a get into your discard pile as soon as possible, and then rebuild at that one point in the game where it's relevant. Like we've seen similar with the Unicorn Endless Plains province that kind of goes in and out. I think it's popular again at the moment, where if it's played and people always have someone tagging along, and it changes the game style slightly. But strategic weak points with a rebuild, like if rebuild is going to get played forever by Crab, and strategic weak points sitting in their discard pile when you're attacking, you have to assume that they're just going to rebuild that in every time. So that I like that. I think that's an interesting setup. But yeah, I can definitely see your concern. Like if it gets revealed, you're like, that's a dead province. I just need to discard it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say for it is, if you go heavier into Send Home, it actually makes Send Home and the defense somewhat relevant, and we just got a character in the Lion Pack who's good at that. So there might be a little bit of play with it, but I can. You want to see it, but you don't want to see it in your province, and that's always a problem with a card. Like you can flip it in the province, and then be like, okay, you're not going to go for that province, I guess. Yeah, it's a bit tough to love. It's a bit tough to love. There is some play with it, but it's a bit tough to love. Justin, any thoughts?
It just strikes me as kind of one of those cards that players are going to feel out most of the game. Like the Crab player is going to watch this one character is in attacking army is just hating strategic point more and more entire game, except for that one game where someone gets caught or 2 fate explodes in front of base. Yeah, it's just got that is built in. I think no matter who you are. So I'm fully.
Right.
Yeah, just breaking up a bit there. All right, we're into okay.
I think what we're saying here is that this is a trap card.
Yeah, it really is. It really feels a bit like it is. Like it might see some play, but it's so much work. So much work to do what you want it to do. It's always troubling. Just you just want cards to work. You don't want them to have to be. Yeah. All right. Next up, Court Musician. Hey, it's a 2-cost crane character. We don't see many of them. Oh no, wait. 2 fake cost, 0 military, 3 politics, 2 glory. Courtier action. During a conflict in which this character is participating, during each player's next action opportunity in this conflict, decrease the cost to play cards by 1. Don't hate the stat line. 3 politics for 2 with 2 glory for Crane. That seems legit to me. The action, maybe you got a critical card to play and this makes it free. Like it gives your opponent an edge, but it's a courtier. I mean, I can see some value here.
It kind of feels like this should be a 1 cost without the action, and then the action is assumed to decrease the cost of your cards every time, so they add on an extra fate. So if you look at it from that perspective, if you make the Court Musician and add an extra fate onto them, so you've spent 3, you'll get them for 2 turns, and then in the next 2 conflicts, that you use the court musician in, you get a discount. Now, it can give your opponent a discount, which would suck. But I think typically you are the one in control. So you are deciding, I've got a card in hand. They might have a card in hand, but I've definitely got a card in hand. So I'll reduce the cost on mine, and then I'll play it.
He seems really good in turn 1.
Pretty good on turn 1.
Because that's the turn where you're going to be really short fade because you've had no opportunity to stockpile yet, really, unless you've gone buy one guy, pass.
Yeah.
Where you can be like, cool, I can play this 1-cost attachment or this 1-cost this conflict character or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, are we at the point where we're looking for 1-cost characters with 3 skill, and that's kind of what we're aiming for these days?
Maybe you are, but I definitely don't get that.
No, well, no one really does.
Yeah.
Like some clans will get 1 or 2, and Crane have their 1-cost 3 political courtier already. So the court musician is kind of up against that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess on the courtier deck, I could definitely see it making it in. It's the 2 glory will bump it up higher than you would otherwise, and if you're effectively able to use the cost reduction, then that could be great.
All right. Let's take a look at one of the Daidoji. Ooh, it's a shinobi. And he's got terrible, terrible stats. So, 3 cost, 2 military, 2 politics, 2 glory, courtier shinobi, disguised courtier, action. During a political conflict in which this character is participating, draw 1 card for each card your opponent has played in this conflict. So, he's sitting in your provinces. You're waiting. You've got courtiers to burn or singe. Your opponent has played a bunch of cards, has been going. Then you can swap this guy in and draw a bunch of cards. He's a courtier who also disguises for a courtier. So you're not going to lose the opportunity of having a courtier in play. He's got 2 glory, so he takes advantage of your character, disguises him into as an honor token. Seems okay. Like, disguise is a strong effect anyway, because you can ready a character if you need. But yeah, seems all right. Not like he might draw you a couple of cards. Like if you had a character who was like draw 3 cards, I think most people would be like, that's pretty good.
Well, if his abilities just said draw 1 card,
yeah,
that would be pretty good.
Yeah. And you're not going to activate him until someone's played a card. I think like if you have a guy who's just like draw a card, he's disguised so he can show up whenever. Yeah, that's not like you're like, oh, actually you've played 3 cards at this point. And in the big games, a lot of people are playing lots of cards, going, hey, in he goes. Justin, any thoughts?
This guy is actually his ability is probably a little above average for most disguised characters. Like most disguised characters tend to be fairly situational abilities, but this is something that allows you to bully political conflicts even more than you already do as Crane. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can build Crane decks with quite a hefty military edge, and a card like this gives you an option to I don't know, exert some pressure on the political side as well. So yeah, I kind of like him. Obviously, like Disguised is amazing, and you play most of these guys, but terrible. And as you said, I mean, Crane likes honoring their people. The fact that you could disguise honored,
yeah, solid enough. I might see some play.
I mean, he's solid. I mean, like the question you always have to ask is, is this character going to make it into a deck over what already exists? And I think Disguised keep on its own is probably strong enough to consider it. And with the ability on top of that, yeah, I think he's actually probably a contender for inclusion in tournament decks. That's quite something to be said.
Absolutely. All right, on to a rich strata of dragon. In fact, a bloody whole army of them. Army of the Rising Wave. 5 cost, 6 military, 3 politics, 2 glory, Bushi army, the always lovely, no attachments except weapon. Reaction, after this character enters play, place 1 fate on each unclaimed ring. Baz, is this yet another 5 cost characters like, man, they're good with charge?
No, no. This isn't good with charge. I mean, yeah, it's a nice big block, but that's about it. So yeah, the ability is again one of those that's really focusing on getting more fate on unclaimed rings. So you make this, and your Shirokatsuki gets a bit of a boost. But at the same time, your opponent, when they attack, is going to get some fate off it. So it's double edged. You know, the it has the no attachments except weapon. For some characters, that's good because you aren't going to get clouded, but no one's going to cloud Army of the Rising Wave. There's absolutely no points. The reaction is one and done, and that just means that all those other dragon attachments can't be played on this character. Yeah, I'm not a fan. 5 cost is a lot for just a bunch of skill. You do get a chunk of that back. So, in theory, if you're not playing Shirokatsuki, just to simplify, if it's you're the first player, then actually it doesn't really matter because you're going to put fate on everything. But you're going to come out ahead because you'll pick whichever one has the most fate. So it'll give a bit of a refund, but at the same time, your opponent gets it back. Actually, so if you're going first, you'll take, then they'll take, you'll take, then they take, then they take. So they actually come out ahead because they can get that extra fate, that 5th fate. And if you're doing it second, then your opponent picks whichever ring has the most fate anyway. No, yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, it does seem like it's another 5 cost Nani character. They need to be saying something pretty special. I mean, 6-3 is okay stats. I mean, they're pretty chunky. They're nearly clan champion, but you know, it's probably not quite enough.
Yeah.
All right,
and like it will boost Shirokatsuki, so
Yeah.
it'll help those claimed rings be more relevant.
All right, time for some lion support of Kyuden Nakoma. Quarrelsome Youth. 1 cost, 1 military, 1 politics, 1 glory, 1. Bushi. Reaction. After this character loses a conflict as an attacker, if you have fewer cards in your hand than your opponent discards 1 random card from his or her hand. So, it's like 2 slightly dodgy lion focuses, having less cards and losing conflicts on the attack. But I suppose if you have a Quarrelsome Youth out and you've Kyuden Nakoma and you go, I attack, politics, what do you do? And your opponent's like, yeah, crap. If I defend, you get to bow one of my non-champions and pitch a card from my hand. If I let you win, I let a 1 politics character win a challenge in the attack. This seems annoying. Baz, any thoughts? Is this annoying?
I honestly just don't like the stat line. I'm okay with the stat line in a conflict character, but I just don't like it on a dynasty character. You know, you're paying 1 to discard a random card from hand. Surely there's something better you could be doing with that 1. Yeah, I don't like it.
You're just saying that because he dishonors and then your opponent's like, oh, we'll just have him bounce. So you got to send him in with the favor in politics to make it annoying for your opponent.
And I mean, you attack Earth, so you know, one way or another, a card is getting discarded. You just get to choose which way it goes. So, I mean, I can certainly see it. I just don't like it.
Yeah. Justin, any thoughts?
Yeah, not many. It's fine. I mean, the most important thing is to 1 skill. He'd probably be better as a 1 cost 0/1 with 0, to be honest. But but as it stands, yeah, kind of underwhelmed. It just doesn't push hard enough, to be honest. It just doesn't do anything. Yeah. It doesn't do anything strong enough for where it is at the moment or the game. So yeah, kind of a thumbs down. I mean, it's going to be annoying for your opponent, as Baz said, it's going to cost you one face. You can discard a card. It doesn't seem like a great return on your.
Yeah.
Especially considering you also have to fulfill a condition of having fewer cards in hand than you do to start with. So it's just one condition too far, probably.
Probably indeed. All right. Now up, Unified Company. Lion Army, 5 cost, 6 military, 2 politics, 2 glory. Bushi Army, no attachments except weapon. Reaction, after this character wins a conflict, if you have fewer cards in hand than your opponent, put a non-unique Bushi character with printed cost 2 or less into play from your Dynasty discard pile. So, this guy comes out, roar, thunder of hooves and so forth, smashes into your opponent, wins a conflict, you have less cards, out comes another non-unique Bushi from the discard pile. Doesn't suck. Seems really good with the Spirit Caller. I don't hate this at all. Like, the less cards in hand is annoying, but it's not impossible. You get some value from it. It rewards you on winning. You know? More bodies for HMT. You know? Don't hate it. Yeah. It fights, it lives, it learns,
6 military for Way of the Line.
Yeah, you got to say that. I mean, I don't hate this one at all. I mean, I think it'll take a bit of work, but I mean, and I would be leery of spending money for it, but you might spend money for it. You might be like, you know what? In we go.
Well, if it gets you that discount, if it gets you a 2-cost character in, is it a 3-cost character? Not really, but it might be a 4-cost character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can get a 3/3 guy. We've got some of the chunky lion, Yeah, charge and echoes. Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't suck. Doesn't suck.
I'm a little disappointed that you cannot True Strike Genjutsu though. That would have been really, really nice on this.
Yeah, but it also means this can't be clouded, so you can't you can't be like, oh no trigger for you. And I mean, it's an extra body, so I mean, I quite like this one. I quite like it. It's got some power, but even on its own, it's an annoying attacker in that it's 6 military coming in, and you're like, oh, that's a lot. And it's lion, so I mean, you can go, okay, I'll try and stop it, and then they play away the line, and you're massively in the hole. You're massively behind. So this is going to be a very difficult one to stop triggering. You're going to be like, okay, this is really annoying to stop. And that's a powerful effect. And Travis raised the point, let's upgrade off Turi. And I could definitely see that, because what ring effect is as strong as another guy for 2 costs or less?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about it. You can't touch Sasimono.
Yeah.
This is out. No,
I already thought of that one.
It's junk. This card is junk.
Oh,
Sashimono is key to the line deck.
No, Turi gives you an extra ring, not 2 rings.
Yeah, because you have to.
Yeah, so it's not like Turi doesn't give you 2 rings; it gives you an extra ring. All right, on to the Justin country. It's Asako Takahiro. Oh, who's bigger for some reason. All right, 2 cost, 1 military, 1 politics. Courtier, 2 glory, pride. During each conflict in which this character is participating, this character gets +2 military for each other dishonored participating character, and +2 politics for each other honored participating character. Justin, what's going on?
I'm not overly impressed by this guy. Okay, so for a start, he is terrible on his own. He's just a 1 zone. Other consideration ending. So he functions in large conflicts, and he functions in large conflicts with multiple unassigned characters on the side. But depending on the conflict type, he favors one particular type, while he favors honored characters over honored characters. It's like the opportunity costs on making this guy worth his slot are just so enormous that it's very hard. I don't know. I see myself putting in the deck ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in like filling a bunch of cards that have honor guys, great. But again, in that case, you want that attack a hero kind of in the mid games. If you are maybe you're playing a couple of them, maybe one or two. And if you're doing that, you really he's a pro guy.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like there's a huge amount of effort into this guy that just doesn't need to be rewarded for what he brings to the table. Like at best, you're getting a bunch of stats after jumping a whole bunch of other hoops, and I think Phoenix have in general better things to be doing.
Just play a better character.
So
I think consign him to the hoop jumping tier of characters in which we vaguely regret stuff. All right.
yeah, like he's like he's a really good call back to the just overcomplicated characters that just don't reward you for the effort you. So yeah, he's just not good.
Absolutely.
1-2.
Let's look at something else desperately underwhelming. Palace Guard, 1 cost Scorpion character, 2 military, 0 politics, 1 glory. Bushi Imperial. This character cannot be declared as attacker against a less honorable player than you. So this guy's kind of like this guy managed to be nearly like a bad version of the Seppin from the first set, right?
Yeah, I still have nightmares about those fucking Seppin and the Atomo. So no, this guy's garbage.
And it seems entirely. Let's look at the next card because the next card is the reason this guy is in the state he's in, which is the Petal Village Estate. A holding, 0 province strength bonus, Imperial. Each Imperial character you control gets +1 military, +1 politics. So this guy seems entirely balanced around the fact that you might have a Petal Village Estate in play. But were that true, like you could play some good characters instead, right?
Yeah.
Like this guy seems like crippled by being placed in the same pack. I look at him and go, what would you look like if you weren't in the same pack? I don't think he'd be as bad as you were. Like he is. Yeah. If the game was recosted around this, that's what a 1-coster looks like, maybe. But the game is not currently costed around this, unless we're getting a new core set to take out a bunch of good 1-cost characters. I mean, this guy, he's gonna struggle.
Yeah.
Like the Petal Village Estate is like I've played Cooney Labs and it's ridiculous. And this has the same effect with more restrictions and no downside. So it's a really strong effect if you can fill your deck up with Imperials, but you got to fill your deck up with Imperials.
Spoiler: you can't.
Oh.
Yeah, and Imperials tend to lack actions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
so it's stat sticks.
Yeah, there's Bayushi Yujiro, who doesn't see play. There's a Tendon to the Emperor, who I guess, well, it's a courtier with 2 glory, so Scorpion probably don't play it, but it's a 1/5, which is kind of cool. Chrysanthemum Steward, 2 cost, 1/2, again 2 glory. And a terrible ability, and then the Palace Guard. So I mean, no. You go into the neutrals, I guess, to go find the rest of your characters. But I mean, are you at the stage where you're playing Seppin Guard just to fill it out? So you play your Truth Seeker, I guess, Seppin Hidden Guard, Satori Daisetsu. Yeah. I guess you're playing a fun deck at this point. Yeah.
It seems like a bit of a fun deck. All right. Let's take a look at the last of the Dynasty cards. The Keeper of Secret Names. 4 Fate, 3 Military, 3 Politics, Unicorn Clan. 1 Glory, Shigenja, Water. Action. During conflict, choose an unbroken province. Resolve that province's action ability as if the conflict were at the province. Can you do that to your opponent's provinces?
Yes.
But who
controls the ability?
Yeah, that's my question.
Hooray! I bet the rules team are thrilled with
choose an unbroken province, resolve that province.
Resolve province action ability is...
Yeah. No, it looks like you can use your opponent's provinces, as far as I can see.
Okay, that's interesting. Well,
but I mean, you But I mean, but who controls the ability when it resolves?
That's
I
my
presume
immediate question.
Yeah, the owner of the province, I would assume, because they still control it, even though you're forcing them to
Yeah,
resolve the.
but you force them to resolve it. Well,
But how many
the
provinces is
ability
that
would
how many
absolutely,
provinces is how many provinces is that good against though?
but that'll absolutely count as the ability being used, right?
All I mean is the ability being used. So what we're looking at provinces that have an action ability that defend themselves. So we've got shameful display.
So if you go in with, like, you've got the keeper secret flame somewhere, and you're like, hey, resolve your shameful display there. Is it used? That's my first question about this card.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Like, I'd be 100% sure the ability counts as used. The ability has been resolved. So, or actually, resolve ability. Resolve that province's action. No, is there a difference between using an ability and resolving an ability?
Let's leave that to the side for the time being. We can let the technicians.
I'll put up the John signal. I'll put up the John signal.
But let's assume that you're just resolving one of your own provinces. So this will let you. Well, it has to be revealed first. It can let you border fortress to reveal something. So Unicorn currently have a couple of fun things where they can put things face down. If a province is put face down, then it'll immediately flip. So if they're attacking into a Khan's Ordu, you can then use their other province. Let me just pull up which one it is.
Yeah, but if you're playing this character, you want all your provinces to have action ability. Because
but what I mean is
want the utility that you can get from it. I mean, yeah, like she'll fit into some bizarre combo boingo deck where you're revealing provinces, resolving ordeals, covering them up.
It's not a crazy deck as you might think. Like, it's Border Fortress, Untamed Step, and Khan's Ordu. So one is to reveal things, the other is to put things face down, and
put them down.
Yeah, with a card like this, it helps that a little bit. So if you keep your deck with Talisman, you're getting a lot of your provinces revealed, and you're able to constantly trigger things and mess around. But in this particular case, I think the Untamed Step is a good one because it lets you put things face down. But I see your point. I'm looking at reactions rather than action abilities, but getting more action abilities would certainly give more utility. But it does prevent your opponent from being safe at any point. No matter where you're attacking, you can always do this. During a conflict, choose an unbroken province. So you can resolve your own provinces
on the attack.
On your attack. Yeah. So you could shameful display on the attack. That's quite cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like, once you start looking at it like that, the card is really interesting, but the wording is just shocking. Or at least it's very difficult to parse what they actually mean.
I'm gonna
what's
assume
going on.
You cannot resolve your opponent's card abilities. That would make sense, because it's resolved as if the conflict were at that province. But that will let you resolve some of your own actions, but wouldn't let you resolve your opponent's. So I suspect that's the way this is trying to go. I think being able to resolve some of your opponent's provinces will be a bit bonkers.
Are you sure? I'm
sure of nothing.
I'm just not sure. But yeah, I mean, but if you can resolve your own action provinces on the attack, then that's really interesting. Actually, very, very powerful. So I don't know. Like, I don't know how it works or how it's intended to work. So it's very, very hard to actually talk about it.
It's like evolution.
I don't know. I think we're going to have to wait for a clarification how this card is meant to work before we can actually kind of render any kind of judgment.
John doesn't know, so we've no chance.
Okay, we're out. We're out then.
Okay.
All right.
In that case, we will wave the white flag of war. And
Pretty much. We got to move on for this one. We got no clue, guys. Hey, maybe it does something. Woo! You know, tune into rules discussion from the next accumulated rulings to find out. Maybe it does something. Hey, somebody try and create a hassle with it. Like, generate a great rules question of worlds by using this one. You might as well. If you're doing nothing else, have a bit of fun with it. All right. Time to withstand the darkness. Crab Clan event. 0 cost. Reaction. After an opponent plays an event that chooses a crab character you control as a target, place 1 fate on that character, max 1 per phase, 1 influence. So it's more save from the Crab Clan. And specifically, it's save after your opponent hits your Crab Clan with something. So, yeah. This might see a little play at the moment. If we see an addition or a new core set or rotation that gets rid of some of Crab's staple saves, this might see a little more play. Like, I look at this and there are a lot of actions that target other people's characters, so maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, one of the problems with that is
I think this is crap.
a lot of the time when you get targeted, something bad is happening to you.
Yeah, often.
Like, you're getting assassinated. Well, I'm not going to withstand the darkness and assassination. Or you're getting way to Scorpion, then you're dishonored. Or you're getting void fisted or happening. So withstand the darkness, like getting to stick around an extra turn. I mean, it's good versus a void fist maybe, but if you're getting dishonored or if you're getting penalties assigned to you or something like that, then that's not great. But yeah, I like the idea of getting more fate on characters. That's great. The lack of control is an issue. You don't get to play it when you want. You get to play it in reaction to your opponent taking something. So a lot of time you want that extra fate when your character is down to 0 fate. But when your character is down to 0 fate, your opponent's more likely to ignore them because they know they're just going away at the end of turn. They don't have to deal with them after that. So it might be a fair and balanced card.
Yeah, which we'll see no play then. Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. Let's take a look. Hey, it's another clan sword. In about 10 years, we're going to have all of these printed. So it is more or less the ancestral sword of the crane. 2 cost, +2 military, +3 politics. Shikujo. Weapon. Attached to a unique crane character you control. Ancestral. Restricted. If attached character has the champion trait, it gains action. During conflict in which this character is participating, switch the conflict type. Okay. I guess, yeah, sure. If it's advantageous, yeah, switch the conflict type. On a stick, a really, really, really restricted stick, but yeah. Okay, it's a big attachment. It's a 2-cost attachment in a format where 2-cost attachments are very sad. And the sword is placed in properly. Yes, the blade is down on it, but that's presumably because it's the crane, and Crane will state that that's actually the proper way to do it now, and you're wrong. So, if you got a problem with that, you can challenge Kikita Toshimoku, do a duel, see how that works out for you. So yeah, it's the Crane sword, and it swaps the conflict. If it's, hey, I would like it, like most of the time, maybe if it's on Hataru, she's like, you know what, I prefer this to be politics. Let's switch to politics. And if you're on Kwanan, he's going to be like, hey, let's have this be military because I'm good at that. So yeah, I can see there being some value there, but you got to get it on your big guy. Baz, any thoughts?
I like it as a card. So +2, +3, ancestral. It's not terrible just from a pure stat line. I mean, it's not good. It's not good from a pure stat line, but it's not terrible. So yeah, you definitely want to get on your champion. In theory, you could play a deck that has Hataru and Kwanan, but you're probably not going to. Is it worth holding on for when you get you get your champion in play? Probably not. Like you're probably looking at a 1 card in your conflict and then 3 cards in your dynasty. if you get the combo off, it's a pretty big combo. Well, I guess maybe like if you have the extra space, like once you get that in play, it's pretty wrecking. You can do a lot of damage with it. You can the new Hataru, it always being a she doesn't political. No, I guess she doesn't care. But on Quanon, like you can switch all of the politicals to militaries and then use his ability, which is pretty good. So yeah, I think maybe I'd put one into a Crane deck I was playing, but I wouldn't exactly rely on it. It would be a nice extra when I draw it, and it might be one of the first cards I cut once I start tuning the deck.
All right. I think that's pretty much it, yeah? Right, let's take a look at some card to work with Shiro Katsuki. Deduction, 1-cost event, Dragon Clan. Action, during a political conflict, return a ring from your claim pool to the unclaimed ring pool. Choose a participating character with printed 3 cost or lower. Bow that character, 3 influence. So, the workhorse card of Shiro Katsuki. Baz, is this any good?
I don't think so. Like 1 cost to bow someone is good. You're limited to 3 cost or lower. It's less good. And it has to be a ring where you've claimed it already. Yeah, if you're playing a Shiro Katsuki deck, and your opponent with complete disdain plays whichever card you named, then you can spend 1 faith and bow them. So yeah, and it's only in a political conflict, not in a military conflict. Yeah. I feel it's very conditional, but it might find a spot in the Shiro Katsuki decks, I guess. But again, yeah, I think you're playing a bad card to support a bad stronghold, would be my opinion.
Alrighty, well, yeah. Justin, any thoughts on that, or is that pretty much how you feel?
Oh yeah, pretty much how I feel. 3-cost characters. There are some decent ones, but outside of Dragon, maybe Crane, you're not going to see any kind of towered 3-cost characters for the most part, which is where this would be extra strong. The restriction is very, very harsh. It's effectively a dead card if you're defending. Your opponent is good enough to, play a card that you've named in your pool. So you've got an unreliable card that is not all that impressive. You've got an unreliable card that only works during a certain kind of conflict, and which isn't all impressive even when it does go off. For me, it's just a terrible card.
All right, let's look at what I think is a really good card. Fan of Command. 1 cost, +1 military, +1 politics. Item, during a conflict in which attached character is participating, choose a participating Bushi character, ready that character. 2 influence. Now, Lion have Ready for Battle, which is a fabulous card against Bow, and negates it out of nowhere. But this card's really good still. Because you can be like, okay, you bowed my guy, cool. Attach Fan of Command, ready the guy you bowed, right? That's really strong. It can ready any Bushi. If you're playing Unicorn, this goes super well in some decks. There's so many Unicorn guys who can move into a conflict. And just being able to go, actually, I've attached Fan of Command to my guy who moves in. I can move him in while he's bowed and I can straighten him. Or I can move in another guy and straighten him. There's a lot of play with this card. This card's legit really good. I think it's got tremendous amount of play. It'll see some play in Lion. I think I think it'll be very strong call for it in Unicorn. I mean, even the old Unicorn Stronghold with this is super good. I think it'll be more a Unicorn card than a Lion card. But hell, even in a Lion card, if you found we went to a meta where it's really heavy in Bow, and you're like, actually, I'm going to play 5 anti-Bow cards. I'm going to play 3 Ready for Battle and 2 Fan of Command, and it's so reusable. Like this is, there's a lot of value here. If you've got unrestricted movements, yeah, this card's got play. This card has got real play. You just need a way to move your guys in the battle. Maybe the Smuggler's Ground from earlier in the set. Maybe Smuggler's Cove. Sorry. Maybe Favorable Ground. Just I like this card a lot. I like this card a real lot.
Yeah, you can. Was it Utaku Steed? Is that the one where?
Yeah, Utaku Steed.
It's a double part combo that will get them into every conflict.
They've got that limited. that limited action that lets you move a guy in or out, don't they?
So no, I'm thinking of the original one.
Yeah, you know,
from Foresight. So sorry, mounted favorite mount is what I'm thinking of. So yeah, favorite mount. It's a 1 cost +1/+0 unicorn card. So that and Fata Command means you can move in and then straighten. So it's kind of a 2 cost effect that makes sure your Bushi doesn't bow and gets to participate in 2 conflicts. Feels familiar. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah.
I think it'll see more in unicorn than lion, but it's still good in lion.
Yeah, so, I mean, it'll make for a good splash for a deck that has Bushi.
Yeah.
I quite like this card.
Yeah, I mean, straighten events are frequently costed, or straighten or non-bow events are frequently costed at 1 fate regardless. So for 1 fate, you are getting +1/+1 on top of it, and the potential to use it on subsequent turns if your character sticks around. The downside is it's an attachment, so if you're attaching it in the middle of a conflict, in fact, probably before you ever get to use it, there's a chance it could get destroyed before you get to use it. But considering the upside, I'd say that would be, I think that's more than fair. So yeah, just a super card.
Yeah, really good. Really, really. I think actually that might be the best card in the pack so far.
Yeah, let's see.
This isn't a terribly good pack, so
no, this is not a strong. So yeah, I think it could be.
All right.
So it's all downhill from here.
I got some champions for you. I got some stuff to make you miserable. Erudite Prestige. Condition +0/+0 0 cost Phoenix Clan card attached to a courtier character. After you play a card during a conflict in which attached character is participating, attached character gets +1 politics until the end of the conflict, unlimited. 2 influence. Like, you're so smart. You're so smart that every time you say something, you're even like smarter. That's like so deep.
Smarterer, Owen. Yeah. Smarterer. Okay. Yeah. This card is very sad. I mean,
imagine playing 2 of it though.
You can play 3 of them.
I know. I know. Just imagine the scales of political skill, or the sheer it's. I mean, it's not super garbage terrible. It reacts to itself coming into play, so it's a 0/1 for nothing. And once you play another card, it's effectively an ornate fan, and anything after that is oh god. But
can you imagine someone playing 3 of this in one conflict?
I can imagine it happening to me and being super, super unhappy. And I can also imagine having 3 of. I can imagine like having 1 of this in my hand and just being super, super sad for the entire game.
This is such a Timmy card. It is a ridiculous Timmy card.
Yeah, it's a bad card. You're going to play Ornate every day over this because of the unreliability. But
it's not restricted though, so you can tower it up if you really want to.
Travis, you're too busy fighting with Marius, but we've already said that one. No, you guys keep fighting.
Up,
you guys keep fighting.
Them down on the same character.
There's an interesting
6-hole skill for 3 cards.
Absolutely.
Don't you see?
And then
don't you see? And then you play another card, and it's 9 skill for 4 cards.
Yeah, it is. The Timminess. It is a politics bump, but Jesus, you could just play the fan. Yeah. But yeah, there's an interesting sub argument you guys can watch about, in the chat if anyone is interested in taking a look at that. It's more or less you suck, no you suck. But there's more erudition to that. These people are talking about how the various merits of Phoenix versus line cards versus in line and outside of line. So yeah, awesome. There's some extra value there for if you want to check it out. All right. By any means, 0 cost Scorpion card. Tactic. Action. During a conflict, if your honor bid is higher than your opponent's, choose a participating Bushi you control and a participating character your opponent controls. Until the end of the conflict, Set your character's base military skill to the current military skill of your opponent's character. 2 influence.
That's an amazing effect.
It is.
That is never going to happen.
Yes. It is a lot of hoops. But wow, once you get there, oh, my Bushi. My Bushi.
If your honor bid is higher, we've seen this again and again and again, and I don't know why they keep printing them.
It's not just that. It's if your honor bid is higher, you've got a Bushi, and there's someone much bigger.
And the moon is in the second phase, with
Like
several planets ascending and other ones in descension, and it's a full moon probably.
All right.
And
I
well,
want
no, you don't need them bigger, because if you've got like a katana, you equal their base skill, and then you get your katana on top of it. So,
well, look, this ability was on another character called. This is on a Phoenix character called the Kato Temple Protector, and that character is garbage.
No, that character is amazing. It's just not
that,
a Shigenja, so you never play. It's got the combo where you've got 2 of them together, and you bonsai 1, then you can copy, and then back and back and back and back and back.
Real?
Actually, no, you're absolutely right. The Kato Protector is better than this card, and the Kato Protector is never seen. So,
I think
is this card better than bonsai?
After you've already played.
Rare.
After they played a bonsai, is this?
I think this is a good card.
You never.
But
no, it's not. It's not a good card.
No, it's like you're going to bid 5, they're going to bid 5. You're going to be like, oh, I can't play it. All right, like next turn. All right, I'll bid 4. They've bid 5. Okay, that didn't work out. All right, turn 3. If I bid 5 again, okay, no, they bid 5 again. That's the problem. The decks that, like, if it's equal to or higher than your opponents, this would be a fantastic card. It would be 3 into every Scorpion deck, and you'd be splashing it, and the bid meta would be all over the place because people would be terrified by it. But it's not, so it never triggers.
If this was equal, even, it would be a much more interesting card.
Yeah, or if it was equal, then it'd be a real card.
Yeah,
but it's higher.
Yeah,
so
it really is not.
It's not.
Maybe there's going to be a new dial that goes to 6 that only some people are allowed to use.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could duel with this and then bid 2 when everyone else should be bidding 1. Then all of a sudden you can trigger it. Or you go back to those bid shenanigans where you want to bid 5.
So now we're also playing it. So now we're also playing a dueling deck, and we're bidding inefficiently in order to activate a card that
it's a smoke and mirrors dueling deck. Smoke and mirrors dueling.
Yeah, okay, let's power on through.
Nope.
We got 2 more. All right, Current of the Barret. My brain said bereft for the second, but it's the Barret, I think. Barret? B-R-Y-T?
Of the Barret.
Barret? All right. 1 cost, +1 military, +1 politics. Spell, water, Meishido, unicorn. Attached to a Shigenja character. Action. During conflict, take 2 actions. 3 influence. All right. There have been times when tempo super matters and the ability to take 2 actions can be significant. Not that often, though. So, yeah. You need to be able to do something in some sort of action where there's no counterplay, where you play this, you take an extra action, and then, play an attachment.
Anything to do it with.
Play an attachment, use an attachment, maybe. Play your attachment down, use your attachment. Like you go, okay.
Yeah.
Jade Tetsubo, play with Jade Tetsubo. Jade Tetsubo, your face.
Yeah, that's the best I can think of.
Okay. But
and it's 3. Why is it 3 influence? Are they rolling a D3?
it does seem like there's a bit of a dartboard going on with.
Why is it
regard to
3
influence costs.
influence?
Why is it
know.
even? So it's only Shigenja characters.
Yeah.
It's only during a conflict, just in case you wanted to take 2 actions out of a conflict, I guess. Yeah, I don't get it. Can you pass and immediately end the conflict?
You cannot.
Damn.
You cannot.
I'm out of ideas then.
Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Crane already. Yeah.
This pack's a winner. I gotta say, this pack's a winner. All right, last card. Are you gonna redeem the pack for us, Outflank? Are you gonna redeem the pack for us? 0 cost Unicorn Clan event. Tactic. Reaction. After an opponent's province is revealed during a conflict, choose a non-unique character. That character cannot be declared as a defender in this conflict. Max 1 per conflict, 2 influence. John will play this card. He will play this card because he hates Gakita Toshimoku that much.
Toshimoku is not a non-unique character.
Yeah, so nothing.
John's going to be bitterly disappointed.
Yeah, super disappointed.
It's a restricted covert that only affects non-unique characters if if they defend a province that's if you're attacking into a province for them.
Yeah, so
I'm not sure this actually.
Well, if you have some covert already, like you could covert unique characters and then outflank the non.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, in a super blitzy deck, effects like this are really, really nasty because they just stop an opponent from ever having a chance of defense, or they can simply tip the scales so far past what's a reasonable investment to defend that it's simply not worth it. So maybe in hyper aggressive decks.
After an opponent,
I don't know. I mean, it's
revealed?
Yeah.
Only after the province is revealed. So you attack, you declare your covert, then the province gets revealed, then you outflank. Okay. Sorry, I'm just yeah. So
I guess you get ghetto. It's ghetto. Yeah, it's ghetto covert is what it is. That's So
it's not terrible.
It's not terrible. Like it's a poorish covert for 1 turn at the cost of a card. Could be very, very powerful, but
I'm gonna say I like it.
Yeah. Just compare it to Tattooed Wanderer, and then maybe this card isn't that good anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is 1 cost.
All right, that's the Champions Foresight. Garbage mostly.
It's quite a poor pack.
Yeah.
I don't know where they were going with this. I got none. And
considering the good stuff that's in the 6th pack that people would have really liked for Worlds, I mean, this must be a little slap in the face. Not a huge slap in the face, but
On the upside, it does mean that the previous month's playtesting is basically unaffected.
More or less.
So
more or less.
There's always a silver lining.
So we've got a ton of news coming out as well. There were previews of the Dragon and the Crab pack in a stream earlier this week from FFG. So next Imperial Advisor, we could definitely review the Dragon pack, right?
Yeah. So we all know that the cards for a Dragon pack are out. 5 Rings DB has actually put them up without the images, so they're there.
We could definitely do that.
And we've seen the images floating around whenever that comes out.
Other stuff that we know is going to happen at Worlds, in addition to Worlds being on and there being tons of amazing prizes, they've got the draft is going to be played for the first time, and Tyler will be taking people through building draft cubes to use for your drafts. And he's also in the stream he previewed the Clan War set, which is going to be a multiplayer focused Alpha War set, so you can play either 4-player games or 3-player games or 2-player and 2-player games.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure they said 4-player, did they?
They said 2-on-2.
Yeah, and they did say that 3-player Enlightenment. And there was some nice things in that. So we basically for that pack the the deals. What are they called? The contracts that
Treaties?
the treaties that currently are being made are all based on honor, which has had numerous occasions where players have gone, okay, well, I'll make a pact with you for like hundreds of honor, and then we'll immediately break it so you get hundreds of honor and you win the game. It's like, okay, whatever. But now they've got like a deck of cards where the actual consequences are random. You can pick the scale. I think it's from 1 to 5. And then one example they flipped is that the person who didn't break it gets to take that much fate and distribute it amongst their characters. So you're not always going to have that honor kick, that there can be other scenarios. So that's kind of nice. I was a little disappointed to hear that they hadn't said anything about the king making thing, which always seemed to be a big deal. But yeah, that'll be interesting. I was a little concerned during it. Tyler said the box is mostly focused on multiplayer. There will be like 80% of the cards will be playable and competitive, but I think he said that there weren't any real power cards in there for competitive play. Was the impression I got, at least.
Yeah. So, we'll have stuff to talk about, and we can maybe get there and take a look at Worlds before Worlds happens, or do some like reflection on Worlds and what we thought was big, what we thought was worked out. So there will be content upcoming for us to have a chat about, and it'll be interesting to see what rumors come out of Worlds, what's going on in the immediate future, what's happening for next year, because its details been a little thin on the ground. We know
Yes.
at the end of the year, our first hint has been the clan war, but we really need to start hearing about what's happening with the next cycle, because we don't know. We haven't seen much info about that yet. So
Yeah.
theoretically, right, they'd reveal that at Worlds, or talk about that at Worlds, or have a presentation at Worlds saying, here's the amazing feature of 5.0. I mean, it'd be crazy if you
Yeah.
didn't do something like that, right?
And hopefully they actually tell us about this, about the rotation and about the heavily rumored core 2.0.
Absolutely. Which we've
Um,
heard a lot about.
Yeah, and the Andrew Navarro essentially confirmed it in one of the videos he did, where he said, "Look to what happened in Netrunner."
Yes.
So that's pretty much all we have. But we have it from the head of the studio, so that's pretty good.
Heavy hints for a second core, and I mean logically that would be out either middle of the year then, or maybe Gen Con.
Presumably Gen Con.
Yeah. Gen Con seems logical. Presumably Gen Con.
Yeah, one would assume. Alrighty. So that's pretty much it, guys. For in the stream. Thanks for coming along, hanging around, chatting with us, throwing ideas at us. We will be back in at worst 2 weeks' time. We might have a short stream to talk about pre-worlds next week. We'll see how things work out. But thanks for coming, and bye.
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 Everybody, have a good week, or 2 weeks, or
best of luck, Marius. Kick ass at
absolutely,
Worlds.
Marius. Yeah, if we're not on before, best of luck to everybody else. Have a great time. And, yeah.
Yep. Tim, Mark, everyone, away you go. Best of luck, guys. See you all now.